What up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Matt Wyatt. So I recently went out to go see this new film called Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, and it's the returning form of the director Tim Burton. And you got the two co-writers who have done the show Wednesday, who worked with Tim Burton on that series, and they were the showrunners of the first seven seasons of Smallville. And it was so great that they were reteaming again to do this follow-up sequel to the one of the classic spooky movies of all time that came out in the 80s, which I grew up watching Beetlejuice, the original. I remember when it came on on Disney Channel at the time, and then I watched the full version as an adult, and I really loved it. I loved it growing up. I mean, at the time when Beetlejuice was very popular, they used to put this a live show of a monster show that Beetlejuice was the host at Universal Studios, which I don't think they do that anymore. But I remember going there and I remember enjoying it because Beetlejuice became a popular, larger than life, and Michael Keaton, who played the character in the original film, really brought that character. And this was before he got cast as Batman with Tim Burton. And the original film was definitely one of my all-time favorites that I watch every once a year. And I went out to go see the re-release of the original Beetlejuice in theaters with an audience, and it was still great. It was a great time watching it in the theater with an audience, and seeing them doing a follow-up sequel after like 35 years later. I was a little bit worried because Tim Burton lately has not been putting out one of his best films in the last decade. And I will say that when he worked on Wednesday, and I think he was a producer of the show, but I thought Wednesday, the first season, was fantastic. And then when they got Jenna Ortega playing Winona Ryder's daughter in the movie, it was going to be interesting seeing that dynamic because I think Jenna Ortega is a phenomenal actress. And this movie is really just taking place decades after the original film. One of the family members have died, and now the Jenna Ortega and Catherine O'Hara and Winona Ryder had to return to the hometown. And then one day things escalated when Jenna Ortega, the daughter, has opened up the portal to the afterlife, and then Winona Ryder has going to have to team up with Beetlejuice to go and rescue her. I mean, that's just only thing I'm going to give you for the synopsis. But I was still a little bit worried of how this movie was going to turn out because sometimes when they try to bring back a legacy film that came out so many years ago and they try to do a legacy sequel, and they most of the time it doesn't always turn out well. But I will say it's one of the rarest because Top Gun Maverick, a film that it was so well loved, and I love Top Gun Maverick because the original film was more of a cult classic, and I couldn't believe how much they were able to pull it off. But you had a great collaborative team with Tom Cruise, and he was the one that actually made the film work, and it became a most beloved legacy sequel of all time. And I was a little bit worried that they may not capture that love of what they did in the original film. I mean, yeah, sure that the original title was called Beetlejuice, but most of the time you were focusing on the two main characters of these lovely couple, which is Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. They were mostly the main characters, and Beetlejuice only had like 15 minutes of screen time in the original film. But in this movie, he gets a little bit more screen time in this than he did in the last film. And seeing Michael Keaton return to form was amazing when he shows up in the film. It felt like he never left. He was the larger than life character. He was a demon, but he was also like an egotistical and a total jackass who wants to cause a lot of trouble and wreak havoc at times. And he wanted to marry Winona Ryder's character at the end of the original film. But I thought that him coming back to the role as Beetlejuice was definitely amazing. I will say that after coming out of the theater, I was so surprised of how much I really enjoy this movie. I won't say that this movie's perfect. I had some issues with the script. Kind of feel like it was kind of all over the place. The first like 10 to 15 minutes was a little bit rough to get through for the build-up. I wish they would have handled it a little bit better, but I won't get into it too much. But I love the fact that we got a chance to explore of the world building of the afterlife. We got a lot more world building in the afterlife than we did in the original film, and I thought they did a great job with the production value, using the stop motion animation, bringing back some of the visuals that was done in the original film and bring it back into a modern day time. I thought that Jenna Ortega was fantastic. She's the daughter of Winona Ryder, and they both were not on speaking terms because she is one of the people that don't believe in the unknown of the supernatural ghosts. She's a non-believer. She only believes in science, and they drifted apart because she believes that her mom, Winona Ryder, is crazy and that she's a lunatic, and she has her own little like a show that does ghost hunting thing. And I thought that was a little interesting that they did a little bit different in her in present day time because she was completely against that idea of you turning that into the house into like a tourist attraction. At the times I thought like this doesn't make any sense. We meet up with another character that Winona Ryder is dating her manager, which he comes off as very off-putting and very creepy and annoying, which I get that that's what they intended his character to be. For me, I didn't really like his character at all. I know he's intended to be unlikable and creepy, but I feel like they could have handled his character a little bit better. But I thought that Catherine O'Hara felt really knocked it out of the park. She's a national treasure when it comes to comedy. I mean, she was amazing in the original film. I thought her reuniting with Winona Ryder was definitely amazing to see this whole reunion come together. I was so impressed by the cinematography. I was so impressed by the music score that the composer has been brought back by the returning Danny Elfman, who did the original Beetlejuice movie, and he's done some other films like the Spider-Man trilogy with Sam Raimi. He also did the original Tim Burton's Batman movie, and I thought that the musical was very impressive. The opening felt like a retread of the original opening of Beetlejuice, and it was definitely updated in modern day times. Now, the story doesn't really try to retread what they did in the original film. They don't try to make this as a remake. They make this as more of a continuation. But my few and my negatives that I felt like that the storyline with some of the characters were kind of all over the place, and that they were so full of plot conveniences. And Monica Bellucci, who's supposed to be the main antagonist of the film, who goes and hunts down Beetlejuice, his ex-wife, I thought she was going to play a bigger part when we first see her introduction in the movie. But then as the time went on, she kind of drifted apart and became a one-note villain to me. And I thought like they didn't really give her a lot to do. And like I said, that there was a lot of plot convenience that I won't go into and I won't spoil it for you, but I felt like it was kind of all over the place. But it was not enough to make it make or break for me. I still thought the pros outweigh the cons. But when Beetlejuice showed up, at least after 15 to 20 minutes, he steals the spotlight. He's delivered the comedic tone, the dark humor, the craziness, the wackiness, and his dialogue is so good. And you could tell how fun that Michael Keaton had making this movie. It felt like he never left. He looks great as Beetlejuice in today's world. And this guy's supposed to be in his, like, I think he was like in his early 70s, and he looks fantastic as Beetlejuice. He was definitely as more hilarious, way more edgier than he was in the last movie. And this movie is literally more of a hard PG-13 rating, and this movie could have been an R rating. Kind of like in the original film of Beetlejuice, when that movie was rated PG at the time, this movie could have been a PG-13. This one is the opposite, where it's now hard PG-13. There are moments in the film that looked very graphic and disturbing at times. It was great to see the practical effects, to seeing the people who are dead in the afterlife, and they did it so well, and I thought it was great. But overall, I really had fun watching Beetlejuice. I won't say that this is as good as the original film, but this is a movie that I would definitely go see in the theaters with an audience. A lot of people in my theater were having a good time, having a great laugh. I thought it was really a damn good movie, and I recommend anyone out there who loves Beetlejuice are probably going to really enjoy this movie. It didn't look like they were trying to set up a sequel. It felt like it was a one and done story, and at the ending really messed me up so much. I mean, that was really disturbing. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, like I really recommend you should go see it in the theater. Now, is this a movie that's gonna change my life and be an Oscar contender? No. This is a great time to way to kick off the spooky season. It's a beautiful looking movie. It does has its flaws, but I thought the pros outweigh the cons. Now, I'm going to give my official rating, my final verdict, I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. So, guys, what did you think of Beetlejuice? Did you love it more than I did? Or are you someone out there that thought, yeah, this movie didn't really live up to the hype and it wasn't really for me? I would love to know your take in the comment section below. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and make sure you hit that subscribe button for more of my videos and help me reach 500 subscribers. If you want to follow my social media links, the link tree will be down in the description down below. So I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from. And stay tuned for more of my content.